Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. I am joined here today by Penn State freshman Lyndie Lobdell. Lyndie won a gold medal for the under 18 team for USA and currently has 4 points for Penn State this year. Lyndie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And how's everything going?
Everything's good. I'm currently on break, which is really nice. I'm with my family. I miss them a lot this semester, but everything with school is going really great. Academics, athletics, everything. I love it so much.
Well, that's great to hear. And I kind of want to. My first question to you is: your team has had an excellent start to this season. What have you overall taken away from your first few games in college hockey?
Um, I think just that because I came into it really nervous, obviously, because I think that's like inevitable, but it's just the game that you love and you have to just do it. You have to take away all the nerves and don't think about anyone except obviously your teammates, but focus on what you need to do, what you need to do with your team to win and just get it done. Like it's not it shouldn't have so much pressure because the more pressure you put on yourself, the worse you play because then you get nervous and all this other stuff comes into play, but you just got to play the game. And it's like it is a huge difference from what I was playing before, like youth. So yeah.
Yeah, and what's the biggest adjustment you've had to make so far to your game to start off the year? Has it been the mental side, making quicker decisions with the puck, or has it been more the physicality, playing against players that are 4 years older than you are?
I've always played a really physical game, so that hasn't been an issue. I actually love how physical it is. So it's an adjustment, but I more so had to adjust mentally, getting like everything that we do on a game day and like the length of the game and staying in it and moving the puck quicker. And you just don't have the time that you normally would have in youth. It's a lot different.
Yeah, and you recently played Syracuse at the start of the year where you won 2 out of the 4 games that you played against them. How important were those wins for your team, especially getting the first one on the road?
They were huge. It was because we never had that record with them before. I think we won twice, like ever. So beating them those couple times and tying them, which was very annoying, and then the loss sucked, but it meant a lot. And the fact that we had 4 games with them, I think it just kept getting better and better each game. And it was really exciting. It was a really fun game. I think it's kind of starting a rivalry, honestly. If
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
definitely. I found it interesting that you played them 4 straight times in the schedule. That usually never happens in college hockey. And was it cool playing against the same team 4 times in a row? And did you get to know them a little bit better throughout that series?
yeah, it definitely like helped us because you like notice the things that they're doing and you play off of them and you read their key players and everything. And you're right, that doesn't happen. It's just because like it's COVID season. So we had to make some sort of schedule. But I did like it because we just kept when we got the win and the tie, we were like, that's not enough. We want to sweep them, which didn't happen. But that was like our mindset.
Yeah, what challenges does Syracuse bring as a team, and what did you do defensively to stop some of their offensive threats?
They well, I would say in the last game, they transitioned very quickly and you always have to have at least you have to have your D back, but sometimes if like the D jumps into the play, we always have to make sure we have F3 back or else there's going to be odd man rushes, which happened a few times. So I think just making sure that we're ready to like turn around real quickly and like get back and play defensive, like good defensive hockey and playing D first the whole game, which to me starts in the offensive zone, like
Yeah, and your
protecting
team is
the blue line.
currently. Oh, I apologize. What?
No, I just said like protecting the blue lines and everything.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Now, your team has a 4-1-1 start to start off this season, one of the best starts in program history. What have you guys done so far, and what do you guys still need to work on to at the second half of the season?
What have we done? I mean, I think there's just been like a change in culture with the class that we have now, our freshman class, because we're a very large class and we're all just very, very focused on what we need to do and we're there for each other. And in the coming season, I think that we just honestly need to keep doing what we're doing. I think we're doing it right. I think we're practicing hard every day. Everyone's doing everything they can, getting in extra ice, shooting room, whatever. And off the ice too, like staying on task with school. And I think we're good right now. I think we're doing really well. I think we just need to keep it up.
Has that been an adjustment for you trying to balance academics and hockey, being a student athlete at D1 level? Because obviously school looks a little bit different this year, having most of it online. Have you had any adjustments towards that side of your life, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a thing for me, but high school is definitely a lot different than college. And online has made it more difficult because being in a class in person is a lot different than being on a video every day. So you just have to like make sure that you're always in it and focused. But the work along with what we're doing, like with practices every day, it is definitely an adjustment. Like you just have to make sure you're like staying on task with everything.
And how have you tried to adjust to that? What have you learned about time management during that adjustment for academics in school?
Just like making a schedule for yourself helps a lot. Like and sticking to it, not just procrastinating is really hard to avoid. And sometimes that happens and it's okay. But like if you have a schedule and you also allow yourself to have breaks, I think that's important. So then you can not be like annoyed the whole time that you're doing the work. You can give yourself like a brain break. But like that's I definitely like to keep a schedule and like stay on that.
Well, that's definitely important. Now, you've gotten to play in some 3-on-3 overtimes this year. As a fan, they're very fun to watch because it makes the product a lot better because there's more offensive chances. But what is it like to play in them as a player?
I honestly love them. It's like the biggest game of my life was in a 3-on-3 overtime. And it's nerve wracking, but I think it's really fun because you have more ice to work with, you can be more creative, and it's just like exhilarating, honestly. I loved it. And then in that Syracuse game, 2 games, that was a lot of fun. And I think we like dominated most of it both times.
Yeah, as a fan, they're fun to watch because last year they had 4-on-4 overtime, which is fine, but it's just not as a viewer, it's not as fun to watch because there's less offensive chances and there's a lot more icing that goes on throughout the overtime. So I think it's
Mhm.
really opened up space and created more offensive chances for players like yourself to get more scoring opportunities, which I think is important.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too.
Now,
It's
do you
great.
guys do shootouts in the CHA? Am I correct on that?
Yeah, but we didn't this year. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I was just curious because I know some conferences have started to do that, but I haven't seen the CHA in particular start to do it. So I was just wondering on that end of things.
Yeah, no, I was because when we tied them after the 3-on-3, I was expecting a shootout, but that didn't happen. I'm not really sure why. I don't really have an answer for you for that one, but um, I'm almost positive it's like in our rules is that's what we do. So I'm not sure why we didn't do it.
Yeah, I was just curious on that. But another adjustment that you had to make, as many hockey players had to make throughout the country, is dealing with many schedule changes and postponements. How have you mentally adjusted to those potential schedule changes, and how do you stay flexible for those postponements as well, since there's been so many throughout college hockey?
I think it's just like because we had our schedule changed like a couple of times, but just when you get a schedule, focus on that and don't focus on the possibility of it getting canceled. Like worked up to that point where you're gonna be playing, and if it does get postponed, adjust your training, adjust your mindset a little bit, I guess. But like, I think just staying positive and waiting for your chance to play is what you need to do instead of being like, well, what if we get canceled again? What if we get postponed again? Like, you can't think like that, or else it's just gonna mess you up.
And there's obviously been no fans in attendance. How have you adjusted your game without any crowd noise, and how does your team try to bring crowd noise or energy on the ice without any crowd noise off the ice?
We actually had, since our rink is so big, we had a few like parents in and stuff. But in general, I always try to like get that out of my mindset. Like it's nice to have people cheering for you and stuff, but all I can really hear during the game is my team because that's all I'm focused on and that's how I like to keep it because I don't want any outside distractions or anything. Like I don't want to care who's in the stands. I want to focus on the game. And our team is really good at keeping the energy up on the bench and cheering everyone on and keeping it really positive. It's really cool.
Yeah, and how has your freshman class adapted to the new team, especially in these circumstances, and since you're such a big freshman class coming into Penn State this year?
My freshman class got really, really close really fast because we all had to rely on each other and be there for each other with what we were going through with COVID and not being able to like actually be with the entire team because we had to do like the phases and pods and whatnot. Um, so it also, when we started playing, it brought our team really close because we were like, we finally get to all be together and have what we've been looking for. And we just have really good chemistry as a team, I think.
Yeah, and how have the upperclassmen helped your transition into college hockey, and who in particular has helped you out the most?
In the beginning, Chantel she's my closest friend on the team, upperclassman friend, I guess. And Mallory Uline too. She was there for me a lot. Just like it's really just looking out for us because it's our first year. It's a really weird first year. Just like checking in because we can't actually hang out or anything, but like just checking in and everything. And Natalie Heising, our captain too, has been awesome and just like being there for us all the time. And she's great. I love my team. And the upperclassmen are so welcoming.
That's good. And I want to talk a little bit about Natalie Heising. She's obviously one of the top players in the CHA. What's it like to be her teammate, and just talk about her on the ice skills as well?
She's awesome. Honestly, it's really cool to see how dedicated she is. And I really like her uh like mindset on things because she's really respectful of everyone but she also knows how to like motivate you, not never being mean or anything, but she knows how to motivate you and get you there. And she reads like people in a good way to know what motivates them and gets them there. And on the ice, she just works her butt off always. I've never seen her have a shift where she's like not going full bore because she does it for her team. And she's really smart with the puck. I think like she knows how to make plays. She is ready for the puck anytime and she can move it to who she needs. And I think she works really well with Kiara in that way because they're both playmakers, but they also like are looking for the puck too. They're scorers as well.
Yeah, and do you think that leadership that she brings on the team now will help your leadership skills when you're an upperclassman in the future?
Absolutely. I think she's like, I would say like my mentor and someone that I definitely look up to, someone I want to be like. So I want to take little things that she does and bring that into myself because I see myself as a leader too. But as a freshman, it's not like, oh, like a legit, you can't be like a freshman captain or anything. It's just like you have to lead by example and do your best, but you can't be like that as a freshman necessarily, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. Now I want to transition talking about the off season that you experienced. How was your quarantine, and what did you do during the off season to stay busy and pass the time and prepare for this college hockey year?
Well, with school, it was just making sure you're a student, you're staying focused and everything. And then we would do a lot of like outdoor workouts and everything. And I ran a lot and just trying to find things that like keep you busy, like going outside and not sulking in your room because you can't necessarily do anything, just like finding the positive side of things. And like little random activities, like me and my roommate did like paint by numbers, which was like weird, but it was fun. And it's just like a cool activity to like keep you going. So just like little hobbies.
Yeah, and I've talking to many players throughout the country. They were talking about how it was hard to find ice time during this off season and how they had to adjust their training because of that. Was it hard to find ice time where you were from, and how did you adjust your off season routine because of it?
Uh, like in the summer,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't actually very hard at that time because I was working with specific like separate skills coaches in like smaller groups to begin with. So the fact that we had a small group made it easier for us to be allowed to do things. And one of the guys that I worked with, he had like a lot of access to one of the rinks, so he was able to like turn it around and get us going really quickly. And then somehow Beantown was allowed to happen. So that was really great that I got to do that too. I didn't expect that at all. But um, yeah, it wasn't bad. And my gym was still open and everything. And even when it wasn't, we have a whole setup in our basement. So I did that. Like we have a squat rack and everything. So I was able to keep up the whole time. So I wasn't really in any sort of deficit at any point.
Well, that's good. And I know you graduated high school last year. How was your graduation? Did you get to do it in person or was it all virtual? Because I got at least a in-person graduation, socially distant, but I was just curious if you had the opportunity to do that.
No, actually, it was really strict here when like in that span of time. So pretty much all of our senior activities got canceled, which is I'm almost positive the same for everyone else. Like we didn't have our prom or our senior road trip or anything. And then we just like got my family together and just had to watch it like on the screen. And it was literally just like a list of everyone's names and then a couple speakers. So it was very weird, but what are you gonna do? That's just how it is.
Yeah, definitely not the way you imagine graduating, I would assume.
No, definitely not.
Now, I want to start off talking about the beginning of your hockey career. You're from Illinois. How did you start playing hockey and how did you start falling in love with the sport?
So my dad grew up playing his whole life. He still plays. And he played at Western Michigan and he was a captain his senior year. And he got me and my sister Lainey into it when we first moved to Chicago because we I was born in Ohio. We lived there for a while. And um we came here and we have a rink right up the street. So he taught me how to skate and everything. And my oldest sister didn't like it at all. But me and Lainey really loved it. And immediately, like, we stepped on the ice, we learned how to skate and everything. And it all just started to click. And it just like became something that I wanted to continue to get better at and find different people to play with. And I grew up playing with boys, and that I think like grew my love even more because like younger boys are really competitive and kind of crazy. But it was like the perfect way to go into it. And it was just like me falling in love with it more and more, and I still love it, and I'm still falling in love with it more and more. Like I love the game.
Yeah, and having a sibling that plays the sport as well, how does that help your hockey development? And do you guys ever compete with each other on a day-to-day basis when you're at home?
Yeah, our family is very competitive in general. So me and her, we never like take it well, like on the ice we do, but like off the ice it's more like, hey, let's go in the basement and like shoot and stick handle together. Let's work on this. She's a forward and I'm a defenseman, so like I'll help her on her face offs if she needs help, even though I'm not good at that. But and then like on the ice, we do a lot of skills with my dad at the rink up the street. So we'll like get the ice for the morning and do a lot of stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome. And it's really cool to have her and like helping each other with things and having another perspective that we're not afraid to tell each other things that we need to work on because like we know it's like completely out of love. So
Yeah, and who was your favorite player growing up? Was it someone in the NHL or was it a women's hockey player that you like to watch?
this is probably a pretty basic answer, but I always loved Kendall Coyne. And I knew her growing up because we did camps with her. And she, I remember at uh, a rink near me in Bensonville, she was at that camp, and me and my good friend Morgan, like, just like clicked and held on to her basically the whole time because we knew how good she was and we knew how awesome she was. And she was a really great leader to us off the ice.
Is it cool to see her what she's up to now with the Blackhawks and also doing commentary for Notre Dame hockey as well?
It's awesome. I'm so happy that these things are happening for her because I know how hard she works in her life and what she fights for. And it's really, really cool to see her as like successful as she is and working with the Hawks, which is like my team. And I she's a huge role model for me. Like I really, really look up to her.
Yeah, no, she's obviously one of the best women's hockey players to ever play, and what she's doing now, I think, is even more special in my opinion because I think that's going to last longer when you think about her legacy.
Yeah, I think it'll be coming in waves after her too. I think she's starting something for women to be able to look forward to things like that, because now like we have like the NWHL and everything, and it's just growing more and more, and she's helping that so much.
Yeah, and before Penn State, you played for the Chicago Mission. I was just curious, how'd you get the opportunity to play there?
um how did I get the opportunity?
Yeah.
My sister started playing before me because she was older, and um it was, we had a group, me and these three other girls, and we played with each other before in like spring teams and stuff. And we were really lucky to live here and be able to be a part of the Chicago Mission, and we knew how big they were. And when we were younger, we were like, let's go try to do this. Let's go play like legit girls hockey, AAA, like, and we did. And then the progression of it, like going every single year as my youth career there, it was led by like the girls at the top at the time. Like Katie Ratty was someone that I really looked up to, and then it's continued. Like Shay Nelson, who was on Penn State too, I looked up to her a lot because she's really great, and she was playing with my sister too. So being able to see my sister a part of it made me want to be a part of it in that culture, and playing with Coach Catchy, who is like one of my all-time favorite people in the world. He was an amazing coach. So I wanted to be with him too.
Yeah, I was looking up that Chicago Mission roster throughout the years. You got to play with many D1 commits, and obviously Chicago Mission has had many successful college hockey players that are currently in the league now, like Tatum Skaggs from Ohio State played there, as well as Val Caldwell, and Ella Huber, who is committed to play to Minnesota, plays there as well. How did playing with those type of players help your hockey development?
So I never got to play on a team with Skaggs or Val, but my sister did. So I would be out there practicing with them all the time. And they're just very like intense. Like they're always going. They're the people that you want to be practicing with because they push you to get better. And same with Ella. Ella's actually like a very close friend of mine. And we kind of went through like the whole like USA process together. And she's definitely someone that I lean on and off the ice. She's been like a very great friend to me.
And how did the mission help prepare you for college hockey?
I think it was the best possible team I could have been on to prepare myself, because we practiced a lot, and it was always really intense, really high tempo. Our coaches were awesome. They loved us and they cared for us, and they wanted us to be the best people we could be on and off the ice. And I think that helped a lot, because not a lot of people had the opportunity to be under people who really truly care about them. And that was like the people that we got. And the constant hard work and just like raw talent that Mission had was honestly like untouchable in my opinion. Like our culture was so unique and amazing. So
Yeah, and like I mentioned in the intro earlier, you got to represent your country in the Under 18 World Championship. My question is, what was the process for getting selected on that team, and how did you find out you were going to Slovakia?
it's a long process. It's so you obviously start with like the big tryouts within your region. And then from that very first one, you find out if you go to Select 66. And it was in St. Cloud this year. And so you do that. My first year, I actually got cut after 66. And then this year, I didn't. And they basically pull you all like into a room and put it up on like a slideshow. They're like, you made it, you made it, you made it. And that was the day that we were all supposed to leave. So you find out whether you made it or not. And then you prep for the next one. So I made it from that, went to Lake Placid. And when you go to Lake Placid, it's the first week is everyone like the 33, I think it was. And then after the first week is over, a few girls get basically like handed plane tickets and they go home. And then the second week is like training and still being evaluated, because you can still be cut, but you're there for the rest of the week. And then we played that series against Canada, and then everyone goes home. And then you'll get a final call within like it was November when we got that final call. And that's when you find out that you're going to go and play like at Worlds. So when I got that call, it was one of the happiest moments of my life, because you have to understand that you can be cut, and that did happen. Girls got cut in that process. So just like continuing to work and everything was like a big thing.
Yeah, and was there any culture shock you faced going to Slovakia for the first time?
I have never traveled out of the country like that besides Canada. So it was if anything, it was just really, really cool to see like all the differences in the way that people live. And um we stayed in like a more secluded place to start. I forget exactly what the place was, what the town was called, but it was really cool to like be able to talk to different people and like try to do your best to like learn the language just a little bit so you can do like the basic like please and thank you and whatnot. And the food and everything, it was really awesome.
Yeah, and you scored the game-winning goal during the semifinals in that tournament. Talk about that goal you scored and what it means to you today.
Um, that was awesome. That was when, well, we had a really rough time with Russia the first game, and that being like me scoring in that game felt really cool. And I think I'm more of a person that when other people score, I get more excited than I do when I score. But it was really cool to have that moment when Mia passed it over, and it was like something that my teammates actually say that like I'm known to do, like quick fake a shot, get out of the way and like shoot. And it was really awesome. And it's kind of weird to say that it was the game winning goal because we won like 3-0. But um now, like to this day, I still watch that video and like I get butterflies in my stomach. It's just really awesome to watch.
Yeah, and what emotions were you feeling after winning the gold medal, and what does that mean to you today, and where do you keep the gold medal currently at the moment?
I don't take it to school because I don't want that to be stolen ever. I keep it hanging on my mirror in my room, and it's never going to leave that spot probably until I get it framed if I get a house someday. But I it's so hard to explain like the emotions because it's a rush of emotions. Like when Kiara scored that goal, everyone just like flew off the bench like there was a fire or something, and just like tackled her, and we were screaming our heads off, and it was just like unbelievable at the moment. I was like, this really just happened, like we did this. And it was just a huge rush of emotions.
Yeah, and talk about the competition you played in that tournament, not just playing with the teammates that you did getting into the tournament, but also with Canada and Russia and all the other countries that participated in the World Championships that year.
It was really tough competition, like especially with Canada. We knew we had it in for us when we had the series against them. We knew it was gonna, we all needed to do work and we needed to get better and get ready to play them. And I think the thing that like helped us was that we had really, really good team chemistry. Like we all got along so quickly and so easily. And with the other teams, like everyone was a challenge. And we all had to keep growing and keep learning and keep figuring out how to play with each other because it's like a brand new team. But like our biggest competition was definitely Russia and Canada, more so Canada. But it was some of the funnest games I've ever played in my life,
And
just
like you were
because it was
just
so hard.
Yeah, and like you were just talking about, your Penn State teammate Kiara Zanin was a part of that team as well. What's it like to play with? What was it like to play with her in that tournament, and knowing that you were going to be teammates in college in the future?
It was, I was really excited to have her like with me on that team because I had known her because we committed pretty early in our high school careers. And she and I got along pretty easily, like quickly at the camp. And like when we were abroad. So it just made me really excited to know that I was going to have someone like her on my team for the next 4 years, because she's like, her work ethic is really admirable. She is always doing her very best and watching everything she does and being like the best person, teammate, player that she can be.
Yeah, I don't really. I've been watching some of your games recently, and she really stands out to me just because she has so much skill with the puck, and she can definitely score as well. So I can't wait to see what she does in the future with Penn State because I know it's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited for her. She's awesome.
Now, speaking of Penn State, what was your recruiting process like, and why did you choose to go to Penn State? Because I know you looked at other schools just besides Penn State as well.
Yeah, so I followed Campersall from Princeton. I was I visited him at Princeton, and I just that didn't click for me. But it was sad because I really loved him as a coach, and I was looking forward to having him as a coach. But I just didn't click at Princeton. And I mean, it was all really early in my high school career, like before the rule came in that you can't talk to them that early. But I started when I was in like eighth grade, and the old Penn State coach reached out to me once, and it never progressed from that. So they weren't really in my choices at that point. And then when Campersall moved to Penn State, he was like, "Hey, I want to get you out here. I want to get you to look at Penn State, see if you like it." And as soon as I got there, I was like, "Oh, this is it. Like, I really, really like it here. Like, not just the rink, it was just the community and it being a big school, Big Ten school, the pride that everyone has to go to Penn State. Um, and then him being there was like a huge influence to that too, because I've always looked up to him as a coach. So my sophomore year, that was when I made the decision to go there.
Now, Penn State is a relatively new D1 program. I think they're only 6 or 7 years old. What role do you want to play in developing that program to be a successful D1 program in the future?
I want to be a part of the big change, and I think it's already happening. It's very obviously already happening, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm proud to be able to know that we are working our butts off every day to be that change. And that was like a huge reason that I wanted to go there, because I didn't want to be just another Jersey. I wanted to make a huge impact in a program and bring it up and do the best I can to just continue to like help it grow.
Yeah, where do you see the Penn State program 4 to 5 years after you graduate?
Where do I see it?
Yeah, like, do you think it could make its
Very
importance?
successful.
Yeah, yeah.
I think so. I think that we're already on the rise, and I think it's just going to keep going and going, and more people are going to realize that we do have like a lot of talent here and a lot of work ethic, and it's a program that you do want to be a part of, and I think it's just going to continue to rise.
Now, what's it like to play under Coach Campersall? You obviously talked about what his role was in your recruitment process, but what's it like to play under him in college, and how has he helped your hockey development so far?
He Campersall is just a really great person, and it helps to be able to be coached by him, because you know he has the best intentions, whether or not he's telling you you're doing something bad or something good. And when he is telling you like you need to fix this and this, he does it in the best way possible. He's very respectful, but he also knows when like to pick on you and like be hard on you, which I think he reads everyone really well with that, especially me. Like we have a really good relationship, and I trust him completely. So he just like helps me any way he can. I work with him, we do video, everything, and I know he always has our best interests at heart. So
Yeah, and how are the assistant coaches at Penn State? I know Melissa Samoskevich is one of your assistant coaches as well. She obviously had a great career with Quinnipiac. How have they helped you as well?
well, Kumi is my D coach, and I love her. She's so helpful in many things, and she also I have a great relationship with her. I think that's like a really great thing, because I also Samo came in and she fit right in. Everyone got along with her. She is super awesome, and we know that she's like fresh out, so it's really cool to have that like perspective with us, and for her to know exactly what we're doing and what we're trying to do and like the process of it. Not that our coaches don't, but like she just went through that. So I really like her, and I love Kumi too. They're really awesome.
No, like I was just saying, you guys have one of the best records in the CHA. The schedule hasn't come out for the second half of the year, but what are your goals and expectations for that second half, and what do you want to accomplish personally as well?
Um, I want to win the league if that's possible, if we can do that, if like we have a schedule to allow us to. And I think it's pretty basic, honestly. I just want to keep going. I just want like our progress to continue, and I want everyone to realize that we do have a huge chance to continue to like beat these teams and be the best in the league and go really far. And I think that that's my basic answer is just to keep going, keep growing from what we're doing.
Now, do you know when the CHA second half schedule will come out? Because I know other leagues have released their second half schedule. Do you have, as a player, have you gotten any word on when that's going to be released?
Our coach keeps us updated on like if they're having meetings and stuff, but I think it's just like gonna be random. I'm not positive when they're actually gonna release something like that.
Now, what's it like to play in that conference? So it's obviously one of the smaller conferences in college hockey, but you got some good teams like Mercyhurst and Syracuse and Robert Morris. I know you haven't played some of those teams yet, but what do you expect from some of that great competition that you're going to play every single weekend?
I'm just excited. I never really kept up with their teams, and I don't actually know anyone at Robert Morris, but I just know with the teams that they've had before, like in the league, they're pretty much like the best most of the time. Like it's either Syracuse, Robert Morris, or um, Mercyhurst, and I'm just really excited to start playing them because I know it's going to be good competition.
Yeah, we're now in the non-hockey segment of the podcast where I ask you some non-hockey questions. Now, my first question is, besides hockey, what other sports do you like to watch or follow, I guess?
Uh, I kind of watch football, not really, but I really like watching basketball. I really wish that we could be going to like the women's and the men's basketball games because I always find that really exciting. But other than that, I don't really keep up so much with anything besides hockey.
Now, are you an NBA fan or just Penn State basketball for the most part?
Just Penn State basketball, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. They play in the Big Ten. They have some good competition, obviously, like Michigan and Ohio State. And how are they doing this year? I haven't really been following up on it.
I've really only been following the women because they're doing really well. They actually got like the first Penn State athletic win of the year. So that was really awesome to see that. Not that I don't want our men's teams to be winning, but I thought it was cool to see that it was a women's team. So I haven't actually been able to like tune in and watch based on like our schedules, but I've just tried to keep up with like their record and they're doing really well.
Yeah, and what's your favorite part about the Penn State campus besides hockey, obviously?
My favorite part, I would say Pagula, obviously, but it's a really big school, but it's really not when like obviously I'm not super sure about that because I haven't been going to classes and stuff because we don't have in-person classes. But every day seeing the stadium and the BJC and just like and downtown is like awesome and it's just really like a great community. So
Now, it's obviously New Year's is coming up. What's your New Year's resolution for 2021?
um huh, that's a good question. I don't know. I guess maybe I don't know, something basic, like eat a little better. I
Yeah,
mean, I've never been big on New Year's resolutions because I don't like making like I want to continue like a good lifestyle rather than have to make like a huge change in a promise to try to get myself to do it.
that's a good answer. Now, another thing I wanted to ask you was, what is your favorite TV show to watch?
Grey's Anatomy. I've watched it actually a couple times.
Now, another question I have is, uh, the Winter Classic is usually happens every New Year, but I know it's not going to happen this year. But if you were to play in an outdoor game, what stadium would you want to play in?
Oh, Soldier Field. I played there once and it was the coolest thing that I've ever done ever in my life. It
Yeah,
was like the way that they set everything up, it was awesome.
yeah, I think they had a stadium series there, correct? If I'm correct, like a few
Yeah.
years ago. My answer
Yeah.
would probably be Fenway Park. I'm from Boston, and they've had the Winter Classic there before, and they've had a few college hockey outdoor games as well. And it's just a cool atmosphere because it's one of the most famous baseball stadiums ever.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Now, who's your favorite actor?
Matthew McConaughey.
And speaking of your teammates, who's the funniest on the team?
Jenna Brennan. She's cracking jokes left and right all the time.
Now,
She's hilarious.
besides your, now besides yourself, who has the best style on the team?
Mallory Uline, for sure.
Now, what music do you like to listen to in general, and which stadium has the best warm-up mix that you've been a part of so far?
Hmm. I mean, we only had home games with Lindenwood, so it's really us or Syracuse. Syracuse has a pretty good playlist. I like theirs. I like ours better though. But I usually listen to everything besides country because I'm not a big country person, but like I have a wide variety that I like.
Nice. Do you have any go-to artists like, Lil the Baby or like Avicii or something like that, I guess?
Um, I really like Drake and I love Mac Miller, but I don't really listen to him like pregame, but I kind of just go to like random SoundCloud songs before a game for like mashups and stuff like that. But otherwise, I think it would be like Drake.
Now, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh, hmm. For like anyone like dead or alive,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I would probably go with my grandpa because he recently passed, and if I could do that again, that would be amazing because he was my biggest supporter my whole life. And I just think like having another moment with him would be amazing.
That's a great answer. Now, back to some hockey questions now. My first one is, what do you think should be done to help grow women's hockey, especially since you've been a part of it for such a long time?
I think people just need to realize like women do it just like the men do. Like it's a different game, but we are working and like practicing and training and doing everything we can just like the men are, and it is worth it. And watching those games and being a part of that and like just giving the support that you would give to a male athlete who's working hard too is important, and knowing and like opening your like heart to just be supportive. It's not that hard. Just like be there for the girls that you know are like doing the most for the sport that they love.
Yeah, definitely. I hope this podcast helps a little bit out with that. I know it's a bit of a smaller platform, but I like getting athletes like yourself on to help, I guess, grow the sport and share your athletic experiences.
Yeah, I think this is really great, and I think it can do that.
Now, I know Penn State has a good men's team as well. How do they try to market the women's team, though, compared to the men's team? And have you guys gotten like good TV ratings, I guess, since I know they stream the games on the Big Ten Network Plus app?
I haven't really been paying. I know the men get a lot of attention, and like they have similar social media things, and um, like we have the same like Twitter, Instagram, all that, and we post just about like the same stuff, and like they have more followers and stuff, but we pretty much do like the same things. Like we all have the signs up in our games and like the pictures of people and whatnot, and um it's like pretty similar to what they're doing obviously, but they just like get a little more publicity like on TV and stuff.
What's been the best sign you've seen so far behind the visitors' goal net?
uh I actually can't pick one out specifically just because like if we're on the ice I'm kind of just like doing a quick glance of all of them, but I like the pictures of like everyone's dogs and stuff as like right behind our net. I think that's super cute.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, what advice would you give someone who's currently trying to make D1 college hockey?
Just got to keep working and make sure that you're getting yourself prepared before you even go, and but also make sure that you're making the decision that isn't influenced by other people. It like wholeheartedly has to be where what you want to do and where you want to go and who you trust.
Now, what should I do better as an interviewer to improve this podcast and make this platform better?
I think it's been really great so far. Like I love all these questions and I think it's really informative, and I think it's great for the audience to hear all this stuff.
I
So I think
appreciate the kind words, Lindy. It means a lot. Now, do you have any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your family members, teammates, or friends you might have?
it's the best roommate and teammate ever, Kiara Zanin. Love her. It's probably it, and the Penn State team in general.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Lindy. It really means a lot to me. I wish you all the best for this upcoming season. And thank you so much once again for talking about some of your athletic achievements with Team USA, Chicago Mission. Take care, stay safe, and have a good Christmas.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Merry Christmas.
Bye. Is there any other questions you have? I think like the episode should be out like sometime in January since it's the holiday. I'm going to be taking like a few days off, but
Yeah.
any other
No,
questions?
No question.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. It does mean a lot. I've been a big fan of the Penn State women's hockey team, and you've obviously done an incredible job so far. So keep it up, and I'll definitely be promoting you guys as much as possible.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is great. Thanks.
Awesome. Take care. We'll be in touch soon.
Yeah. All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Bye.